Hi everybody! Today we're going to be talking about the past tense of modal auxiliaries. The worksheet says that it's about the past tense of haben, sein, and the modal auxiliaries, but it's actually just the video before this, the puppets video, that had haben and sein in it. This worksheet is actually only about the modal auxiliaries, as that's the only thing that's actually new here. In order to understand how to use these, you're going to have to first of all understand how to conjugate each one of these. So we're going to start off with dürfen here. Dürfen changes to ich durfte, du durftest, sie es durfte, wir durften, ihr durftet, sie durften. And you'll notice that we have a te ending at the end of it like we would for anything that's a regular verb in the simple past tense. And we also have a stem here, durf, D-U-R-F, all by itself, and then we add the te, T-E-S-T, te, T-E-N, T-E-T, T-E-N, like we would for any other regular verb in the simple past tense. Können loses its umlaut and becomes ich konnte, du konntest, sie es konnte, wir konnten, ihr konntet, sie konnten. Mögen changes quite a bit and actually changes to something that looks similar but is actually a little bit different. We have mochte. It looks a lot like möchten, but that's actually the subjunctive mood form of mögen. So whenever you say ich möchte, I would like, you're actually using the subjunctive mood for mögen. This is the simple past tense, mochte. Du mochtest, sie es mochte, wir mochten, ihr mochtet, sie mochten. Sollen is pretty simple as well. All we have to do is drop the en and add our endings with the te endings. Ich sollte, du solltest, sie es sollte, wir sollten, ihr solltet, sie sollten. Wollen also follows the same pattern. Ich wollte, du wolltest, sie es wollte, wir wollten, ihr wolltet, sie wollten. Müssen follows the same pattern. Ich musste, du musstest, sie es musste, wir mussten, ihr musstet, sie mussten. Notice that you don't have an umlaut in the simple past tense. In section 2, we're supposed to take all of these things and change them to use the modal auxiliary in parentheses in the simple past tense. The first one here says, Die Kinder machten ihre Hausaufgaben. The children did their homework. If we change it to the children had to do their homework, we have to say, Die Kinder mussten ihre Hausaufgaben machen. Notice that we put the infinitive at the end of the sentence like we did in the present tense, but we conjugate our modal auxiliary differently to indicate that it's the past tense. The children had to do their homework. If you tried to do this in the present perfect tense, it can be done, but it's not as common to use the present perfect tense form of the modal auxiliaries. You could, however, say, Die Kinder haben ihre Hausaufgaben machen müssen. You would then have two infinitives at the end of the sentence, and it's just a little bit more complicated to do that. And so most people, if there is an extra verb in the sentence, they won't use the present perfect tense with the modal auxiliaries. They'll just opt for using the simple past. Nummer 2. Esst ihr Spargel? Are you eating asparagus? Wolltet ihr Spargel essen? Did you want to eat asparagus? Nummer 3. Hast du das nicht früher gemacht? Didn't you do that earlier? If we want to say, couldn't you have done that earlier, you would say, Konntest du das nicht früher machen? Couldn't you do that earlier? This one here we have konntest because that's the do form that goes with the simple past tense, and we still have machen at the end for our infinitive. Ich gehe heute Abend ins Kino. I am going to the movie theater this evening. If we want to say, I was allowed to go to the movie theater this evening, you would say, Ich durfte heute Abend ins Kino. You can add the gehen to the end of the sentence if you really want to, but ins already implies motion going towards the kino, or the movie theater, so we don't really need gehen in this sentence. Mein Bruder mag mich nicht. My brother doesn't like me. We actually already have a form of mögen in this sentence, so we really just need to change this to the simple past tense instead of having it in the present tense. Mein Bruder mochte mich nicht. My brother didn't like me. Meine Schwester und ich schwammen nicht oft. My sister and I did not swim often. Meine Schwester und ich sollten nicht oft schwimmen. My sister and I shouldn't have swam very often. In section 3, we're supposed to write 10 sentences about our childhood using as many modal auxiliaries as we can. It doesn't have to have all of the sentences include a modal auxiliary, but I tried to use them as much as I could. Also, it says that it's supposed to be in the simple past tense for all of this. However, I chose to use the present perfect tense instead because I'm speaking them and I thought it seemed more appropriate. Als Kind mochte ich sehr gern lesen. As a child, I really liked to read. Ich wollte jeden Tag lesen. I wanted to read every day. Meine Eltern sagten, ich durfte nicht immer lesen. My parents told me I'm not allowed to always read. Ich sollte nach draußen gehen. I should have gone outside. Ich sollte draußen spielen. I should have played outside. Ich sollte rennen und Sport treiben. I should have ran and played in sports. Das mochte ich aber nicht. But I didn't like to do that. Ich bin nach draußen gegangen. I went outside. Ich habe mich in einen Baum gesetzt. I sat myself down in a tree. Ich habe gelesen. I read. Ich mochte in Bäumen lesen. I liked reading in trees. Meine Eltern mochten, dass ich draußen war. My parents liked that I was outside. Ich konnte mehr lesen und meine Eltern waren damit zufrieden. I could read more and my parents were happy with that. Ich durfte draußen lesen. I was allowed to read outside. This is actually a true story from my childhood. I used to sit around in the house and read all the time, even in the summertime, and I would just sit around and nerd it up with my books and stuff, and my parents were like, you should go outside and play, and I was like, but I want to read, and so I would just go outside and read inside of a tree, so that was fun. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. If you want to see some more of these grammar videos, we've got a link up there at the top right. If you want to see some resource reviews, the latest one that I did was about busu.com. That's up at the top left. And if you want to see some Märchen, we have those at the bottom left. The last one of those that I did was Hänsel and Gretel. And of course, if you want to see some songs, we have those over on the right-hand side. The last one of those that I did was Ein Männlein steht im Walde. If you want to see 2 videos a week from me, you can hit that subscribe button and never miss a beat. Thanks for watching. Bye now.